Hi friends, now in the last lesson, your students looked at decomposing a number to subtract. So in this lesson, we're going to move on now to the algorithm, the way that we all learned it back in the day. All right, we're still on the same standard if you're in Florida. Of course, if you're not in Florida, the standard will be a little bit different. We are working on now subtracting multi-digit whole numbers. As we do this, they are building an understanding because of multiplication and division, because you'll see later division, we just can refer to it as repeated subtraction. Okay, and so now in the benchmark, add and subtract. So we're subtracting the multi-digit numbers. Now we're using the standard algorithm. So we have a problem here. One way too, when we think of subtraction and word problems, is we like to tell students to think about, a lot of times we've got a whole and then two parts, which is what we have here. The library got 5,849 new books. They put 2,225 books into the fiction section. How many went into the nonfiction section? One thing that we have to think about when we're helping our students with homework is a problem like this just seems so easy for us to comprehend. We just automatically say, well, you would just subtract it. But try to put yourself in the mind of your third grade student. So this may be overwhelming to them. So sometimes pictures are helpful. Like in this case, if we thought about, a library section where we have fiction books, and we could even label it fiction books. And then we have our section with our non-fiction books. And so we know that there are 2,625 in the fiction section. And there's a total of 5,849. So the whole is 5,849. So again, when you see word problems like this, sometimes it might be helpful to draw a picture, to a diagram to help your students with that. So in the algorithm, of course, we just subtract by place value, but it is critical. We always have to start on the ones place and move to the left. Now, when there's no regrouping involved, it wouldn't matter. We could start on the right. But if regrouping is involved, you will get the wrong answer if we start on the right. So that's why we always start with the ones position. So in the student version, we kind of talk through about subtracting each one of these. What I would encourage you is, when you're working with your students, if we're doing this, our tendency is to say, all right, we just subtract the numbers. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. All right, there, that's the answer, right? That's our tendency. So what I would encourage you to do to help students with place value, because place value is so critical. Don't just rush through this. Read it out. 9 ones minus 5 ones is 4 ones. 4 tens minus 2 tens is 22 tens. So over here, you could even write it out, 40 minus 20. We want to reinforce that that's what we're saying here, not 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 sounds like 4 ones and 2 ones. 8 minus 6, that sounds like 8 ones minus 6 ones. We're actually doing 800 minus 600. And then look at your answer. How do we see the 200 here? Well, we see that 2 in the hundreds place. And then, of course, 5,000 minus 2,000 is 3,000. Now, in the student version, there's a great tool. I've got some other videos about it, just focusing on this tool called Polypad, that really helps with some of the number sense. And in the student version, we looked at base 10 blocks. Here, I wanted to show you a different one called exploding dots. So if you are in Polypad and you come down under numbers, and then under numbers, you want to go to additional tools, and here is exploding dots. Now, these are going to be super, super helpful in the next lesson when we're regrouping. But again, it's just helping students to see the place value. This is a little bit more abstract than the base 10 blocks that we looked at in the student version. So just wanted to show you something a little different here. So in this case, we could model this subtraction. I'm going to go down here with my drawing tools, and let's just look like we're modeling subtraction by here taking a ruler and doing our line here, and we're showing subtraction. All right, our subtraction problem was the one that we were just looking at. I'm going to click the text box and it'll let me type one in. So that problem was 5,849 849 minus, we were subtracting 2,625. Okay, so there's our problem. So with this exploding dots, we would work with the blue dots. The red dots are from where we deal with negative numbers later on. A lot of cool things we can do with this. Okay, so first we'll model the 5,000s. And actually, my apologies, we can't do this number because exploding dots only goes to the hundreds. So let's just pretend like our problem was 849 minus 625. Okay, so we would model 800. I would drag a dot there. I can hit C on my computer to make a copy of it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice the cool thing about this, we see that in the bottom it shows us we're in the hundreds place. The number up top changes as we increase. So then next we could model 49. So we would put 4 dots in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, a C on your keyboard will make it copy. And then 9 in the ones place. So 1, see, I accidentally put 1 down there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now we'll model 625. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 25. So 1, 2, and then 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you see up across the top, they see the number written out, 849, and the bottom number, 625. So then we can scroll down and put one more of these underneath here. And so what we could do is say, okay, well, we have 9 here, we have 5 in this one. So when we take 5 dots away from the 9, how many are we left with? Well, we know we would be left with 4. So we could put 4 dots here. 1, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 10s. And again, looking at it in this form, they see that 10 underneath. So it's helpful to make that connection. 4 10s minus 2 10s is going to give us 2 10s. So we will put our 2 10s here. So 1, 2 to show how many are left. Up here we have 9. If we were to take away 6 of those, sorry, not 9, 8. If we were to take away 6, 8 minus 6 is 2. So 1, 2. So we would be left, we can see across the top our answer, 224. Now this tool, I like it to model, oops, sorry, I went back. I hit a button that made me go back. There we go, 224. I like this tool to just model the subtraction problem, but just wait until we get to regrouping. It is a powerful tool for when you're subtracting with regrouping. So anyway, but it's always just fun. Sometimes students are so frustrated with the whole process, and when we can give them a tool that just helps them see, that's what it's all about. It's not just we teach math one way and we use one tool and you better get it with that one tool or else that's just too bad. That's what we're wanting to avoid is if your student looks at this problem, let me just stop and say, and if they get it, they understand it, I am not suggesting that you spend hours practicing with these other tools. I'm showing you these other tools if you have students that are struggling with math. It could easily be that there is one tool that they use that just makes it click. So that's the suggestion. Just a last note, your students, I know we doing over a problem like this. This is a fun problem really to help them make sure that they're understanding place value and also that they're understanding that connection between addition and subtraction. So for example, we know that we call them fact families that, for example, here, if 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, then we know 8 minus 5 is equal to 3, and 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. That's a fact family. So this problem helps to encourage that connection between addition and subtraction. 1 minus what would give me 0? Well, that would have to be 1. So here, some number minus 3 is 5. Well, I know the connection to addition and subtraction says that 5 plus 3 would give me that number. That number must be 8. And so, of course, from there, we fill in the rest. We go more in depth in that in the student version. I just showed you this because I thought this would be a fun mystery problem that you and your students could create to practice. Also, I would encourage you to give your children a number and come together as a family and say, all right, let's create our own problem where this number is the difference. And then they have to think about what two numbers they're going to subtract to get that, and then write a fun problem related to that. All right, my friends, I hope that you all enjoy this lesson, and we'll see you in another one.